In this example, we want to take a look at how we utilize end condition exceptions. End conditions are what targets typically our active surface, usually the existing ground. Well, you can see here on the left side that we have a ditch that is a little bit higher than the natural ditch occurring in our construction zone. And so what we want to do is adjust this to where we just simply have a fill slip coming down to the original toe of ditch. And there's many ways to accomplish this. We could utilize point controls, parametric constraints, but I want to demonstrate one method, and that is to use an end condition exception. So in other words, we're going to generate an exception to what was solved by the template. To do this, we select our corridor, go to our corridor tools, and we choose to create an end condition exception. And we're going to give it a name, and I'm just going to call this left ditch override. And then we have to tell it what we want to do. We have options here of overriding, providing a transition, or only show the backbone. Only showing the backbone basically turns off all end condition components and only shows regular components. The backbone only is useful in areas where you're placing intersections by civil cells or perhaps driveways. And to avoid having to do any type of clipping on the corridor, you can do backbone only in those regions and have it stop at the edge of the backbone. But in our case, we're actually going to override the left side, and I choose that and accept it, and then I put in a start and stop station range, and then it pulls up our template editor. Now, the first thing we want to do is window out just a little bit and right click, and we want to delete what is there currently. We want that to go away, and you'll show that that changes colors. And then we're going to come over to our end conditions, and we're going to select our fill slope here, and I'm just going to pick one because we're going to modify it. And I'm going to drag this over and place this at the edge of pavement. And then I'm going to take this point, and right now if I click and try to move it, there's no options to move it. So I'm going to actually delete both of my constraints. Then I'm going to move that point over here to the toe of ditch, and then I'm going to go back and add then full constraints to here, and I'm just going to allow it to accept whatever it shows there is fine. And then on the point itself, I just need to make sure that that is set to an infinite condition and check for interception. So now if I hit OK here, you're going to see that left side remodel, and what it's going to do now is to draw that fill slope down until it intersects the ground. And so if we toggle through our cross sections, you can see based on the slope that I gave it, sometimes I'm going to hit the ground before we actually get to that toe of the ditch, and that's fine as long as our water is drawing down to the ditch and we're not exceeding our design standard limit of slope. And we'll talk about that in another video where we discuss some different things we can do here in the dynamic cross-section view. But that is one way that we can utilize end condition exceptions to revise our model and see that model then update based on overriding. Another useful way to take advantage of end condition exceptions is, for example, placing a retaining wall where you can delete your end condition solution from your template and then replace that with a retaining wall and then see that then added to the model.